All right, here's the deal. I probably don't wear 50% of what's in my finished objects drawer. The other thing is that we are moving in a month and it is time for me to let go of some things and make some more space. So today I thought it would be fun if I just pull everything out of here, try it on, show it off, do a little fashion show.
Fashion show! Fashion show! Fashion show at lunch!
And then I will decide what is going to come with me on the next adventure and what I'm going to let go of. Here's the thing though, everything that I'm going to be letting go of today, I'm actually going to be giving to all of you. There will be a little Google form down below, so if you're interested in one of the items that I am getting rid of today, you can fill that out and enter to win one of these items free of charge. It's not lost on me that this is a really special thing, that I have so many handmade items that I am able to just let them go. It honestly brings me so much more joy to see my things out there in the world getting loved and used rather than sitting in this dusty old drawer. I don't know what to do with all the socks though. Maybe you can help me out with that. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for growing your business online. Squarespace makes it super easy to create a beautiful website, sell digital or physical products, and share your creative content with your audience. I'll be sharing more about how I use Squarespace for Love and Stitches later on in the video, but for now, let's get to decluttering. Well, the cat is sort of out of the bag. Kit and I are leaving New York City in just over a month, and we are going to need to downsize, which is one of the major factors playing into me cleaning out my FO drawer today. I have done this several times across the last year. I've been slowly letting go of finished objects, but I will tell you that it didn't come easy to me at first. And the very first time I got rid of a finished knitted item was probably 10 years after I had originally made that thing. Now it feels a lot easier for me to let go of my finished objects. They feel a lot more like my store-bought wardrobe than something that I've put hours and hours and hours into. However, because I put so much time into making these things, it just makes sense to me to spend more time thinking about how I want to let go of these things, and giving them away to others in the knitting and crochet community just seems like the perfect thing to do. So, like I mentioned before, there's gonna be a form down below and it will have a list of all of the different things that I am giving away today. All you have to do is fill out that form with your name and your information, and then I will close it at a later date. I will randomly select from each of the items from the pool of people for each of the items, and then I will be sending those things to you. I'll check in with you first just to make sure that you still want the item, and I am sending them to you completely free. If you are able to pay for shipping, that would be cool, but if you can't, no worries. I don't want there to be any limit on you kind of putting your name in the hat for getting any of these things today. Some of the things we're going to be looking at today are garments, and so because of that, I'm going to be taking my measurements for you. That way you can compare them to your own, see how it may fit on your own body. And just an FYI, I have used and worn all of these things, but none of them are damaged, none of them are dirty. They should be something that, as long as you're okay and comfortable, like taking something from a secondhand store, you'll be okay to take these items. I do, however, have a little dog, so there may be a little bit of dog hair in your knitted item. As I'm going through each of the items, I'm going to be trying them on and kind of like telling you a little bit of story. I feel like this is going to be a diary of the things that I've made and things that I am letting go, and it will be kind of a fun way to honor and remember all of the good times that I had while knitting these. If you're thinking about letting go of some of your finished items as well, just remember that it's not a full loss. You got time to wear that item. You got all the joy out of knitting and crocheting that item. Or maybe you didn't get any joy at all and it's gonna be better just to let it go. All right, enough chat. Let's do some measurements here. I'm just gonna take a few measurements. The first one is gonna be of my bust. Let's see. It doesn't really change all that often. I'm pretty sure it's like 34. Okay, 33.5 for my bust, just as a starter point there for you. Let's do my hips. I'm gonna do them down kind of low. I'm at like 35.5 for my hips. Also, I am not a short person, but not a super tall person. I am 5'6", just in case that factors into anything for you. So if you see one of these things that you like, or you think somebody that you love will like and want to wear and want to use, again, just put your name into that form and I'm going to be giving away so many things. Let's just take a little before of what this drawer looks like. It is, as always, getting super full. I'm really hoping to reduce this by a ton today. So that I don't have to keep reaching down into the drawer, I think I'm just gonna pull everything out, spread it across the bed, and then we will get to trying things on. Let it be known that right now I currently have 34 items in my handmade wardrobe. That is 7 long sleeve pullovers, 3 cardigans, 5 short sleeve sweaters, 5 big shawls / wraps, 5 small shawls / scarves, 1 dress, 1 pair of shorts, 6 hats, and 1 pair of gloves. I really don't have a total number that I am aiming for today, but let me make it clear right here that I think it is more than okay to have all of these items and to keep all of these items. In fact, I think it would be more than okay if you had 5 times as much. I'm not here to shame anyone for hanging on to all the things that you ever finish, but I do want to give you permission to let go of some things if you want to. If you're not wearing them, if you just didn't like the experience, it really is okay to let go of handmade items for whatever reason feels good for you. My specific reason today to let go of some of these items is twofold. 1, because I am moving and downsizing, but 2, because I've just noticed that I am not even using some of these things. And wouldn't it be better to make somebody else happy and joy-filled to use these handmade items instead of just letting them sit in my drawer? Let's start with the long sleeve pullovers. I feel like I have a little bit of an idea of what I want to keep and what I want to let go of, but I'm honestly just going to trust my gut today. What feels right today, what feels like I need it to go into the next stage of my life that I'm going into, what is okay to kind of let be in this stage of life and this city that we live in and this season that we're in, and I'm just gonna let it be okay. I don't know what's gonna come of this, but I am excited and I've been looking forward to doing this for so long. This is the Lace and Fade Boxy by Locatelli. I finished it earlier this year in February of 2023. My friend Amy and I knit them for Vogue Knitting Live, and I really like this sweater. But you know what surprised me today when I was putting it on is I didn't feel like I needed to hang on to it. Like, if somebody came up to me and were like, I love that sweater, I would be like, here you go. I don't know why. I feel like maybe because I've gotten to wear it for all of the things that I felt like were really important, and I never really 100% felt on board with like the orangey color, even though I think it's beautiful. I don't know if it's totally me. So I think this one might be on the let go of list. I am, again, not planning out perfectly everything that I'm going to do, so it kind of surprised me when I felt that as I put it on, but I do think this is a beautiful sweater, and I had so much fun knitting it. It's oversized, it's lacy. I'll have all the project details down below on my project page, but if this one ends up on the let go of list, it will be on the Google form. This is the Weekender Light by Andrea Mowry. I knit it out of Knit Picks Stroll, and it has been one of my favorite pullovers for a long time. I knit the size 44. Oh, and when did I finish this? I finished this in November of 2020. This one is one that I would love to keep because I feel like it's just a perfect staple sweater. I love the split hem. It fits me really nicely. I love the detail going down the front. This is one of those patterns that if I lost this sweater or something happened to it, I would 100% re-knit it. I would do it almost exactly the same. The only thing I want to change is like maybe figuring out how I can make this neckline not quite so wide, so I'm not always having to tuck down my bra straps or have it come so tight across the chest. Maybe a little short row would fix that. I know a little bit more about sweater knitting now than I did 3 years ago, so I could maybe play with that. But for now, this one is definitely a staple in my wardrobe, and I'm gonna keep it. This is the Boxy sweater by Locatelli. I knit it in the size 32-34, and I finished this in March of 2016. I made it out of Miss Babs Katahdin, and I loved this sweater. Like, I wore this thing all of the time. I've had it in my wardrobe for, what is that? 2016, so for 7 years, and I have loved it and worn it, and it is time to let this go. It's no longer really my style. I knit myself a new Boxy, which also I might be getting rid of. I wonder if I need to listen to that and say maybe the super Boxy style is not it for me right now, and that's okay. But if you like this sweater, I mean, it's very comfortable. It's so nice and like flowy to wear. I think it looks cute with everything. So you will find this one on that form down below. This sweater is Nurtured by Andrea Mowry. I knit it in the size 1, which is a 36-inch, first 36-inch bust, I think, or 36 inches. I can't remember. But I finished it last October, in October of 2022. I also knit this one with my friend Amy. We kind of made like reverse matching ones where we had the opposite color yarn of each other. It was really, really cute. And I do like this sweater a lot. I will say, putting this on, it doesn't feel like, ooh, I really want to wear this sweater all the time. And that's because of the arms. They are quite tight. So I don't know if this is something that I want to keep around, just because my space is going to be limited and I only want the things that make me feel the best when I'm wearing them. And part of that is like the actual comfort of wearing the item. So if you are somebody that is maybe an extra small or has very thin arms, I don't think my arms are like really muscular, but I mean, I don't have like tiny arms. I usually always have to go up an arm whole size. So this may be the perfect sweater for you, and you will find it down on that form below. This is the Citrine Light by Emily Greene. I just finished this one earlier this month in May of 2023. I knit the size 2, which is a 42.25 inch bust with an armhole size 3. I also made some other modifications with this, with the ribbing and everything. Overall, this is a more fitted sweater than the Boxy, but it's still like loose and relaxed. And unlike the one I just had on, it feels good in my arms. Like, it just feels comfortable to put on, and I really love this yarn. It's Magpie Spin Cycle. It's really, really great. If you've been following my podcast journey, you know that I'm not 100% happy with how this sweater came out. So much so that I still haven't completely cut the ends off of these sleeves because I'm just not really sure. But every time I put it on, I like it more and more. I feel like it's just a really good simple sweater that's a little bit fancy with all the twisted rib and all of this. So this one is going to be staying with me at least for a little bit longer. Next up is my Something Cozy by Shaina Bilow. It's knit out of a really, really soft Chelsea Luxe yarn on giant needles. It knits up super, super fast, and I finished this one in May of 2022. I love this oversized sweater. It is literally like a sweatshirt for me. It's another one of those that if I lost it or something happened to it and it was damaged, I would knit it again right away. I'm actually thinking about replacing it just because I don't like the way that I alternated yarns on the back and it stripes. I like the front a little bit better. Other than that, no notes. Go knit this now. It's the best. This is the Alpenglow by Andrea Mowry. I knit the size 2, which is 36 inches, and I finished this in October of 2022. This sweater was really fun to knit, do not get me wrong, but I knew from before I started working on it that this was never going to last long in my wardrobe. For me, it's like, it's the style, it's the neck, it's just everything about it. I also used a yarn that I knew I was a little too sensitive to, but I was kind of panicking because I wanted to knit along with everyone last year for Ryan Brett. Rhinebeck. I don't regret making this sweater. I really did enjoy my time and I enjoyed the community working together to make a really, really beautiful design. But at the end of the day, it's just not the sweater for me. You may remember that when I first knit it, it came out too short. I wore it to Rhinebeck actually, too short. Then I came back and I cut the bottom off and I added length to it. So now it's a really, really great sweater. But you know what? It's gonna be a great sweater for somebody else. This one is not staying. Let's switch over to something different for a minute and go through my big shawls and wraps. Unlike the sweaters and things, these really don't have a size. They would be beautiful for anybody, and all of these are really big, so they will fit lots of different like body types and shapes. I'll try to show them as best as I can on my body. I've just come to the realization that I'm really not a shawl person, at least at this point in my life. I did wear shawls a little bit more when I was a teacher because sitting in a classroom, it was like fun to have something cozy and knitted around me throughout the day. But practically now, I just really don't wear shawls. And even living in a cold climate, I rarely wore scarves either. So I don't really know if it makes sense to keep these for myself. I feel like I need to share these shawls and let other people enjoy them. This shawl is Texture Time by Stephen West. It was the West Knits MCAL in 2018 and I finished it in November of 2018. In fact, it was my very first Stephen West make-along. The really fun part about this particular shawl is that I got all of the yarn in Nashville at Super Summer Knit Together, which is a kind of a show, Nashville's local yarn show. I don't know, I can't think of the words. It's a retreat, but I just went to the marketplace. That's what it is. So I actually went around to different vendors and I started with like one skein of yarn. And then I was like, okay, I want to get something that goes with this skein of yarn. And I got the second skein of yarn and the third and the fourth and the fifth, all to make a totally different Stephen West shawl. And then I ended up realizing that he was doing a mystery knit along, and so I did this one. So it's kind of a fun like conglomeration of different dyers and a memory of that trip. Seriously, so fun. Just to warn you that there is, oh, am I reading this backwards? Maybe there's not a right or wrong side, but there is mohair in this just in case you have an allergy. But something that's so fun about this shawl is it's a weird looking shape, but the shape actually works in your favor. And it really works if you want to wear it hung to the front. It stays on really, really well. And because it has these really long like arms, it stays wrapped around you too. I'm not keeping this one as much as I love it and all the good memories I have with it. I just don't wear it and I feel like it's an art piece and it's beautiful and it needs to be out in the world getting some love. So you'll find this one on the forum down below. Let's just get all of these Stephen West shawls out of the way first. This one is Twists and Turns by Stephen West. It was the West Knits 2022 mystery knit along and I finished it in November of 2022. So this shawl is another one that was a fun knit, but it was also very difficult. Like I have some memories of just really pushing myself to get the shawl done, which to me is kind of fun, but it was also a lot. And I didn't really love all of the techniques when I was making the shawl, but I feel like it did come out really, really beautiful. This was also the first time that I ordered a kit from Stephen West, which was fun to be able to use different colors. I did end up replacing one of the colors, so one of the yarns is not from the original kit, but I do really like it. So this shawl is cool. Honestly, I don't think I've worn it even once since I finished making it. It's just a kind of a long shape for me. Not super practical, but if you're a shawl person, you can wear this so many different ways. Like it actually is really cool. Like look how you can wear it and have all of these colors like be next to each other with just kind of putting those other sections out of the way. So while I'm not hanging on to it because it's not right for me, I think this is a beautiful piece. And if you want it, you can enter your name in the hat to win this shawl. This shawl is Starflake, also by Stephen West. It was the mystery knit along in 2019 and I finished it in November of 2019. In case you're wondering where the shawls from 2020 and 2021 have gone, I've actually already let those go and out of my wardrobe. This is one that I have been needing to let go for the longest time because even when I finished it, I just was not really feeling it, but I wasn't in that state of mind that I am in now where I'm okay letting things go, or I'm okay letting the knitting part be the joy process and not necessarily having the finished item. I just felt like I needed to hang on to it, and now it's been 4 years and I've probably worn it maybe 2 times. But this shawl is really fun, really bold, and really graphic. I do think because of the shape, it probably works a bit better over the shoulders, but also because of the shape, it stays really well over the shoulder. So if you're looking for some kind of an office shawl, I feel like this is the perfect thing. You could even maybe like tie it like that. I think it's actually really, really cute. And this one will be available. I'm letting it go. This is the Woolberry wrap by Peck, and I finished this one in April of 2019. So see, I do actually make stuff other than by Stephen West. I knit this wrap as a test knit for Jen. I used to test knit quite a bit before I really got into writing my own patterns. But what's crazy is it was only 4 years ago that I made this, and it honestly feels like a completely different lifetime ago. This wrap for me is just no longer really in my style. I haven't worn it in absolutely forever, but I do really like it and like the versatility of it. It's a big long wrap, so it would actually be very pretty for special occasions. So if you've got like summer weddings, spring weddings, I mean, it really is good for that. It is quite long. So if you are under 5 feet, I don't know if you can wear this long. I think it will touch the floor. I mean, it almost touches the floor on me and I'm 5'6", but you can definitely do some different things. You can fold it up and wear it as a scarf. It's just, with the lightweight fabric, it's so lovely. And I do remember enjoying this knit. Lots of lace, lots of repetitiveness. You can also do this like twisty thing like that. I used to wear it as a scarf a whole lot more than I wore it as a wrap. But for me, this is one of those that I've been kind of eyeing there in the back of my drawer going, okay, Natalie, you haven't touched it in forever. It's time to let it go. We are into our first crochet pattern, and this pattern is actually one that I designed. This is Springtime in Suburbia, and it is by me. You can find it under Knitty Natty. I finished this one in April of 2019. So this was a really fun design that I collaborated with Diane of Suburban Stitchers. So she has her beautiful yarn in here. This particular color is called Peach Tea, and I think that's kind of how we started with things. And then we wanted like springtime wrap, and then we're like, oh, Suburban Stitcher, Suburbia, and that's where Springtime in Suburbia came about. This is not my first crochet design, but my first crochet design that wasn't like a houseware type of thing. I think that's true. And I really love this wrap. It's very easy to work. It's chevron. It takes 4 skeins and it's 3 different colors, which makes it fun and bold. It's got these really, really deep chevrons. So if you're looking for something to work out of fingering weight, of course you need quite a lot of yarn, but I feel like it's a good entry-level fingering weight pattern for crocheters, because I know a lot of times I hear from crocheters that they don't feel comfortable working with fingering weight because it's so small. And this one doesn't use a super, super tiny hook, so it may be something a little easier to get used to. I do think I'm going to keep this one because I want to have at least one wrap, and this one is my own design, and I feel like I need to hang on to things that are my own design in case I ever want to kind of redevelop them or need photos. But also you can wear this so many different ways. I feel like when I wear it like this, it's like that early 2000s kind of like wear like bell bottoms and like stringy scarf kind of thing, but I kind of dig it. So this one I'm gonna hang on to for a little bit. Maybe there's another one coming in my future because I do really like how this feels. I like the fabric, it's drapey, it's fun. Anyway, I think this is gonna be the one for me that stays. I can have it be warm. I don't know, I'm rambling now, but keeping this one, but I'll have the pattern for you down below too. I'm feeling a little bit of decision fatigue, so let's switch over to something that's going to be really easy and fast, and then I'm probably going to take a little lunch break. You won't see it, but just want to let you know, because when you're doing these things, don't feel like you have to do it all at once in one go. Listen to yourself and your mind. If you're feeling fatigued from decision making, you can literally stop and continue at a later hour or on another day. The reason hats are so easy is that I only have one hat that's not the same pattern, and literally last week I did a video all about my favorite Musselburgh hat, so if you want to see the details on these projects, you can go to that video. I'll make sure it's down below too. This is the Harlow hat by Andrea Mowry, and I finished this one in April of 2022. So this hat is really fun because it's brioche. I really enjoyed knitting it, but I also did something kind of wild with the yarns. Instead of 2 fingering weight yarns, I held 1 fingering weight yarn, I guess for 1 strand, and then for the other strand, or for the other yarn, I did 2 strands of mohair. So it has this really cool effect where one side is more solid and the other side is more fuzzy. Actually, like the fuzzy side a little bit more. The thing about this hat is it really came out like cute, like I wanted it to, but it's not as practical, at least for cold weather, and I don't find myself going to this hat. Not to say that this hat doesn't provide any warmth. It does provide some warmth, gosh, but not quite enough for my needs. And I'm using my Musselburgh hats so much more. I have so many of them. I really don't need to hang on to this hat, especially if I'm not using it. So if you like this hat and you don't live somewhere that's super cold, or you need something for like transitional weather, this one is going to be available. All of the rest of my hats are the same pattern, Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. If you want to see more details on these patterns, that video will be linked for you. So let's just go real quick. These 3, they'll be the first 3 listed in the description box below if you want the project pages. I finished them the most recently. Well, not this one. These 2 I did, but they're all the same size. They fit me really well. I really like them. They're comfortable. So all of these are going to stay. This one is kind of tight, but because I made it out of a special yarn and I made it for a hockey team, it's kind of like a, you know, occasional wear. I'm still gonna hang on to it, but it will not be stored in my knit drawer. I'm gonna keep it with the things I need for hockey games. The last one is actually the first one that I made, and this one is a little bit tight. I also wear it the least because it doesn't fold up. So this one I'm thinking about getting rid of because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to hang on to 4 different Musselburgh hats, although I don't know, it's not really that many. So this one's a maybe. You might see it down below. Not 100% sure, but I'll figure it out before the end of this video. Hey there! Sorry for interrupting. While we're taking a little break, I thought I would take a few minutes to tell you about today's video sponsor, Squarespace. For the last 6 weeks, I have been using Squarespace to help improve my website. I am taking it from one platform to another. So trust me when I say that Squarespace is really, really easy to use. I've used other platforms to build my website over the past 5 years, trying to make something great for Natty, and I just felt like my website was lacking, and that's when I moved into Squarespace. If you're looking for a place to host your business online, Squarespace is a wonderful place to be. It's a one-stop shop where you can build a website, you could have a blog, you could sell your items like your yarn or your bags or your patterns. One of the best features that I've used Squarespace for in the past, actually for well over a year, is their scheduling site. So I was able to sell lessons. I could have people book with me those knitting and crochet lessons, and everything happened through Squarespace's site. It was really easy to set up, and I was able to customize it a lot. I could just block off the times that I had available, and it was really easy for people to go on and book with me. I could integrate everything from emails to calendars so that my clients got to have all the reminders that they needed, and everything went straight to my calendar, and I never missed an appointment. If you're somebody like me who runs a community-based business, you can also get set up with your newsletter through Squarespace. Additionally, you can create member areas, so you can have gated content on your website just for members, and you can even sell online courses or paid for videos. This week, I'm working on putting the final touches onto my website so that I can finally transfer everything over and share it with you. Squarespace makes it really easy to switch over domains, or if you are brand new to building a website, they make it really easy to purchase a new domain. You can also make it your own. You can use a .com, a .url, a .net, or even customize it for something fun like .art. If you're ready to bring your business online, head to squarespace.com squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, you can use my link, which will also be down below, squarespace.com/nittynatty, and use code nittynatty for 10% off your first website or domain. Back from my break, had some lunch, I did a few rows of crochet on my blanket, I've got some tea, and I'm rejuvenated and ready to get back into this. I think let's go next into one of the bigger categories that I have here, which is short sleeve tops. I do think I need to get rid of some of these. A lot of these tops are from a few years ago when I was experimenting with A-line shaping, which means that I recognized that my bust was not as big as my hips, and I way overcompensated by adding lots and lots of increases in. This was a time when I thought that because I wanted, let's say, 5 inches of positive ease around my bust, which means that my sweater would be 5 inches bigger than my bust measurement, that I also needed those 5 inches the whole way down my body. And that's just not true. To get the type of fit that I like now, I actually want more space around here and less at the bottom, and it just creates a better looking fit for my body that I'm finding in this moment with the current fashion of the world. So we're gonna try these on. I'm gonna be pretty brutal and honest with myself. There might be some items that I am like, maybe wanting to change? I don't know. Let's just put the first one on and see. This is the Prismatic sweater by Wool and Pine Designs. I knit the size 40, so I have 6 inches of positive ease, and I finished this one in April of 2022. I love this shirt. I didn't do anything to fuss with the A-line on this because I knit this last year and I had learned that I didn't need that stuff, but I literally wore this weekend. So this one is staying. I love it so much. And I didn't even realize when I was knitting it that it has hearts in it, and pink hearts, love and stitches. I'm hanging on to this one for longer. This is the Sea Glass Tee by Wool and Pine Designs. I knit the size 41, and I did this as an advent project. I realize that I have kind of a wool and pine obsession, just like with the Stephen West shawls. I actually have 3 tops that I have kept for this long that are from Wool and Pine Designs. I guess I haven't had them for a very long time, but in the last couple of years, these are the sweaters that I see myself going back to and wearing again and again. So I'm kind of making a mental note of that if I want to make more sweaters that fit into my wardrobe, I have a go-to designer that I know just works for me and my body type at this moment. So this sweater I do wear more in the winter, even though it's a short sleeve top, because it's color work. It's a little bit of like a heavier knit. I made it maybe a slightly too long. I probably could have done without the last color, but I do like that it completes the full rainbow. I really like this top, and it is not going anywhere anytime soon. This is the Summer Sorrel by Wool and Pine. I finished it in June of 2021, and I'm seeing that I don't have my size on here, so I can only assume that I made something somewhere in the 38 to 41 range, given the other Wool and Pine Designs sweaters that I have made. But this was before I was doing a really good job of putting all my notes and stuff on Ravelry, so sorry, I don't have that information. I think I am ready to let this one go. This sweater is very special because I got this yarn when I first moved to New York City in April of 2021. I went to Woolen, which is a yarn store in Brooklyn, and found out that the Brooklyn Yarn Crawl was going on that weekend. So Kent and I kind of canceled our plans for the rest of the day, and we ended up going to, I think, one other yarn shop that day, and then we went back and finished the other 2 yarn shops. We made a Brooklyn Yarn Store tour video, and this yarn that I got is from Yarn Over New York, who is Jessie, who was one of our Sock Week sponsors last year. This was before I knew them or anything like that, but I got all of this yarn because it was New York yarn. And then I made this top with New York yarn while I was in New York City. I don't know, it just is very special. But I don't find myself wearing this top very often. I don't know if it is the colors or if it is the style. Something about it to me, I just don't feel like as good when I put it on. It's not that I feel bad or anything like that. It's just not quite something that I go for all of the time. The neckline on this top is really, really wide. It can be very pretty if that's something that you like, but for me, I find that I do kind of have to fuss with my straps just a little bit. Also, as I mentioned before, I was playing with increasing, so there is some increasing here. If you are somebody who has a curvy figure, it will, I think, look okay. Like, it looks okay on me. I just didn't need that extra increasing. So I think this is going to be one of those ones that ends up on that form down below. So if you like it and you feel like it will fit into your wardrobe, I hope it makes you super, super happy. This sweater is Tegna by Caitlin Hunter. I knit the small, which was a 38-inch around, and I finished it in March of 2020. This sweater I knit with my friend Rebecca as we were preparing to go to the Knitting in the Hills retreat in March of 2020 before everything happened and the world came to a screeching halt. It was kind of our last hurrah. And we went back to the Knitting in the Hills retreat this year in 2023, and it feels like things have come full circle. I don't know if it's because now it feels like we're finally moving past everything that happened in 2020 and I got to go back to Knitting in the Hills, and it just, something about it when I put this top on, it just felt like this chapter has closed. I actually had to pull this top out of my dirty clothes drawer. Like, I need to wash this because I wore it recently. So I really didn't expect to feel a desire to let it go, but something is telling me to let it go today. I also feel like for me, this style, it's really cute with the lace on the bottom, but I just never loved how it made me feel like wider here and smaller up top because I already am. I don't know. I think it's a really cute top, and I never felt this way literally until this moment. So it's very interesting to just try things on and think about how they work for me as I am showing up today and in this moment. And in this moment, it's feeling like this one is going to be on that form down below. This is the Tessellation tee by Stephanie Erin. It is a crocheted top. I made the size 3 and I finished this one in July of 2022. This top means so much to me for several different reasons. One, it is the first time I've ever done crochet color work and the only time I've ever done crochet color work, but oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself when I finished this. It honestly feels like it's been several years since I've made this. I can't believe it's been less than a year because now it's May 2023, finished it in July 2022, but I just remember feeling so proud of myself when I finished this top. The other thing is that this yarn, this color, not this other accent color, the main color, went through so many different tops. I actually made an entire other crocheted sweater that just didn't work out and I ended up ripping the whole thing out. I tried to make it something knitted. I tried to make it another crochet top, and it finally made sense when it came to be this one. That being said, I don't really wear this one a lot. I think because it is a crochet fabric, it's a little bit heavier. It's still quite comfortable, but I think you can see I don't know if you can tell, it's just not the kind of slouchy, comfy fit that some of the other sweaters I've been keeping have been. So for me, this one is not something that's getting a lot of use because it doesn't really work into my day-to-day life. So for that reason, even though I feel like I put so much into this, I feel like it's already done what it's needed to for me. So I'm ready to let this one go and go out into the world and make somebody else happy. Just a quick thought before we head into our next category. I'm realizing that all of the tops that I just went through were finished between 2021 and 2022, I think, right? I haven't finished anything yet this year. So that means over the course of 2 years, I made all of these things. And over the course of 2 years, I'm already not wanting to wear those things, or I'm kind of moving past those things. So I just think that's interesting that it's only been a couple of years and yet I'm already ready to change and evolve. We're not the same people that we were 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. So if you're feeling like you want to let something go and you're waiting for a certain time frame, there's no time frame. It's whatever works best for you. And just knowing that I made all those things in a span of 2 years just kind of tells me that I can make things now that fit me better for who I am now. And it won't be an issue of that I won't have any handmade things to wear. The let go pile is getting quite big. I think we should move into cardigans, and that way we can just cross all of the sweaters off of the list. I only have 3 cardigans, which is to me kind of identifying a gaping hole in my handmade wardrobe. I know for sure there's one I'm going to keep, so let's start with that one. This is the Long Summer Cardigan by Locatelli. I made the size 42, and I finished this in December of 2021. I absolutely love this sweater. I wear it so often, so much so that I could probably make another one in different colors and wear it just as much. I don't know if it's like the fabric. I love this yarn from Moonglow Yarn Company. I also have my really fun pink fade in it. It's like, for me, just screams Natalie. Like, it is neutral, but it also has pink in it, and that's just like who I am right now. I just love pink, and that's okay. I also just feel like this is the coziest thing ever. Like, the way that it fits me is just perfect. You could honestly wear this as a robe almost, like not a full robe because it doesn't close all the way, but it feels very comfortable enough to wear around the house. So there's no way I'm getting rid of this thing. It also took forever. It really didn't actually. Looking back, I only was knitting on this for about 4 months, which is pretty impressive, I think. So this one, literally had to pull this one out of my dirty clothes drawer too. So I'm keeping it. I would make it again. This one is Like a Cloud by Locatelli. I finished this one in December of 2019, and unfortunately I did not put the size down, but if I had to guess, it would probably be something like a 40 or a 42. I actually have worn the absolute heck out of this cardigan. I am ready to let it go because it is looking a little worse for the wear. I'm not really sure if anyone is going to want this cardigan. It is a combination of lace and mohair, but it is like looking a little it's looking a little matted. I also knit the sleeves too long, so I have to cuff them. But I mean, other than that, it's in good shape. There's no like holes or anything else in it. I just don't know really if this is something I should put on there. Maybe I'll put it on the form, and you know what? Up to you whether you want to wear it or not. I think this one might be on my to make again list because it's similar to the Long Summer Cardigan in kind of that open front cardigan shape. This one, you don't have to do a border at all. It's just simple. It's not quite as long, not nearly as long, but I think if I made it again, I would just do a fingering weight yarn instead of the lace and mohair held together. I think that kind of contributed to the way that it is wearing. However, it is 4 years old and I have gotten so much use of it out of it. So I'm really not sad at all to let it retire and let it go. This is the Butterswatch cardigan or Butterswatch sweater that I knit and designed almost by myself in October of 2021. Before I tell you more about this sweater, I just have to tell you that I realized something about myself in this video that I've been thinking about for a while, but is so true. I'm going back and I'm pulling up the Ravelry pages for each of these cardigans, and in almost all of them, I am wearing a V-neck t-shirt. And I've kind of noticed that like V-neck t-shirts just don't look quite as good on me, I think, as a scoop neck. And literally, I was looking at myself, my picture, this V-neck sweater, we'll put it up here, V-neck t-shirt with this sweater, and I'm like, I don't think I like this sweater. I think I'm gonna let it go. I think I just look a lot better in a scoop neck. Like, I think this is amazing. I love it so much. I put it on and I just got this like vision of myself being like cozy and working on my computer and like happy. So weird, totally random, but just wanted to mention that in case you're like, you know, trying stuff on and you're seeing like what different tops look like with different things. So the Butterswatch sweater. So this sweater, I used I think it was a DK weight yarn held with a mohair. This mohair is from one of my local yarn stores here in New York City. It was a Madeline Tosh special colorway called like Knitty City Lights or something like that. It was a special color for that store. They no longer carry that mohair yarn. In fact, I think they'd had that yarn for several years, and then I pretty much bought all of it and used it up, and now they don't have it anymore. So this sweater literally cannot be made again. I also designed it with the help of an app that no longer exists. So not only do I not really have the pattern, but it's one of a kind, and I love it so much. It's very simple. It's kind of that like split back kind of thing, but I did an applied edging. Basically, I took the things that I wasn't in love with about Like a Cloud, and I put it into this sweater, and I freaking love it. I don't know why I didn't wear it more. Actually, I do. It's very warm with the mohair, but I feel like this is a jacket almost. It's like jacket level warmth. So I thought I was gonna let this go, but I'm not ready to let it go. I love it, and I'm also about to go throw out all of my V-neck t-shirts. As I was getting ready to go into our last large category, which is small scarves and cowls and shawls and things, I realized that I left one thing out. This was hanging on our coat rack because I used this all winter long. So I guess we can change that 34 projects up to 35. This is the Honey Cowl by Antonia Shankland. I knit this in November of 2014. So this cowl is definitely taking the cake, I think, for the oldest item in my wardrobe. That being said, I am so ready to replace it because I love this for functionality. Like, it's the only scarf, sorry to all the other ones over here, but it's the only scarf that I wore all winter long, and there's a reason for that. It is just the right weight, it's the right length, it's the right size. I feel like I may hold on to this for the sole purpose of just writing down exactly how I made it. I'm pretty sure I followed the pattern, but I'm not 100% sure since it was 9 years ago when I made this. But the Honey Cowl is great. It's a free pattern, it's easy, it takes 2 skeins of DK weight to make this length or 1 skein to make the shorter one. But I do feel like shorter cowls don't really serve the purpose to keep you warm. They're more just cute because they tend to fall down. This, when you double it up, I feel like actually keeps your neck warm. When you're wearing a coat, it kind of pushes it up higher, and I love this so much. So this one's maybe I'm gonna keep it like for maybe another week or so, just so I can get all the details, and then I am set on replacing this for the next winter. This is the Traveler's Loop by Dawn Barker. I knit this in April of 2020. Okay, I take it back. I think I may have found a replacement for that Honey Cowl. This is dreamy. It's doing the whole warm thing, just like the Honey Cowl was doing. I had to loop this one up 3 times. Keep in mind that this one is fingering weight. It's 2 skeins of fingering weight, and you do helical knitting and garter stitch, and oh my gosh, it's yummy. I did this out of a single ply, Malabrigo it looks like, and Ching fiber, and it feels really, really good. I actually was kind of set on getting rid of this until I just put it on because they're not my colors, like they're not my favorite. I think what I really want to do is actually make myself a matching hat, scarf, and gloves. I've been saying this for forever. I know this, it's somewhere out there. Somebody needs to be writing these things down for me. Like a Cloud and Traveler's Loop. Anyway, this scarf is so awesome, and I'm sure most of us have 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn that are single, like they're no match, but they would go together. And then you can make something that's beautiful and functional like this. So maybe this is the one that I'm gonna hold on to until I can get it replaced, or at least try to replace it before the next winter. This is a heavily modified Gina's Brioche Hat and Cowl by Pearl Soho. I finished this one in March of 2018. So we have a theme going on here, and it's these like infinity scarves. I love these things because you don't have to worry about getting them on perfect. There's not really like a front, a back, and they just stay on, and you can bundle them up, or if you get hot, you can loosen them up like this. But I did learn an important lesson with this one, and that is that you need to make sure that you bind off loosely. You can kind of tell, I feel like in the video, but this part does not stretch this bind off at all. And this part, the cast on, is nice and stretchy, meaning that while I should be able to get this around my head 3 times, I barely can because of the bind off. I have been wanting to remake this one for years. So this is a free pattern that is knit out of, I want to say DK or worsted weight yarn, and I adapted it. I added more stitches to do fingering weight yarn, and it's just brioche. So I thought, you know what, I could make a brioche cowl that's perfect for 2 skeins of fingering weight, again, because that's what a lot of us have in stash. It would be a great way to learn and practice brioche, and I could make a whole like video about it and all of that stuff. So I actually do have dreams of doing this one day. So again, I may hang on to this one for just a little bit to get the information that I need from it. But other than that, this I'm ready to redo, replace, let it go. And my friend Amy saw my picture earlier that I posted on Instagram when I got all of my stuff out, and she's already laid claim to this one. So this is going to become a little science project and then go off to live with a friend. Next up is this beautiful cowl that my friend Bethany knit for me last year. It is called Precious by Nadia Tessellation, and I do not know if I am saying that correctly, so I apologize. And it will be down below, of course. But she finished this in March of 2022 and gifted it to me, and it was like the sweetest thing ever. So I think that this is beautiful. It is like the perfect color for me. While it's not really a scarf to keep you super warm like the other ones, it does add a little bit of warmth, and it's super cute like as an accessory. I think it looks really great with some of the simple dresses that I have. So this one is one of the sweetest gifts I've ever received, and it is not going anywhere. This is Lusuoso. It's another pattern that I designed back in 2019. I finished this one sometime in like February, March of 2019. Lusuoso, to the best of my knowledge, means luxurious in Italian. And of course, again, my pronunciation is phonetic and very American, but you get the idea. So this is a really fluffy, really fun make. It is not brioche, it's that knit one below kind of technique, but you change yarns. So you can see one yarn is a really thick single ply and the other one is a really fine mohair. So it's a fun way to combine the 2 yarns. It's really light and airy. You can wear it just like doubled up, which is, you know, not super on trend right now, but it does provide some warmth if you wear it up like this. I feel like kind of like my wrap that I showed a little while ago. This is one that I'm going to hang on to because it is one of my designs. I do wear it sometimes, but not as often as the fuller, warmer scarves. And again, we're just not in an area that is quite that cold. So maybe now that I'm going to have a few less scarves, this one will get a little more wear out of it. This is Unda by Leslie Ann Robinson. I finished this one in June of 2022. So this is one that I know that I'm ready to let go of. I have been ready to let go of since I knit it. I have actually, I don't think ever worn this, and it has nothing to do with the pattern or design. I had so much fun making this. I love brioche and I love Leslie Ann Robinson's designs. They're so much fun. I did have to make this quite a bit smaller than the actual pattern. So if you do make this, you can make it much, much larger. It is just big enough to kind of put around my shoulders and stay. It's asymmetrical. It's very deep. It's very fun. You could also tie it. Actually it'd be kind of cute if you tied it kind of like bandana style and just left it, where's the other tie? Almost like that. I think that would be pretty cute. But I know for me, this just doesn't have a place in my wardrobe. I am half tempted to reclaim this yarn because I love it. It's this really fun, bright, variegated, and then like a nice soft pink. I picked these out to go together for a brioche project, and they look really good in a remake of this, but that's kind of silly and that would take me way too long to actually pull everything out and get the yarn right. I'd rather give this to somebody and let them enjoy it. I enjoyed the knitting. I'm so happy with it. I'm happy to get rid of it and maybe find something in a similar sort of color to do for my next project. We're down to just 3 items now, each in their own category, so we're gonna do a speed round. This right here is the Seaside Dress by Brianna Lupino. I'm gonna put in a photo because with this camera angle, you couldn't even see the full thing anyway. I freaking love this. I finished it last year, I think in like August or September of 2022. I've worn it multiple times to many different occasions, and you would be surprised how comfortable and functional a knitted dress is. I would make this again. I would make it in different styles. I would make it in different colors and different lengths. I love it so much, and it's not going anywhere. These gloves are called Entangled Stitches by Julia Mueller, and I made these in December of 2015. These are the only knitted gloves that I currently own at the moment. I've made others, but these are the only ones that I have hung on to. I really like them. I don't wear them a ton. I actually wear my leather gloves a lot more often because they have the ability for me to, first of all, block the wind here in New York, but also be able to use my phone and not like hurt myself like when I'm holding toaster, it like rubs, you know, on my hand. So I think I'm gonna hang on to these for now. They're starting to be something that I'm wanting to replace. Maybe when I make those matching scarf and glove and hat set, I can replace these as well. These are the Twisted Tea shorts by Brianna Lupino, and I finished these in July of 2017. So I made these way too big for myself. I didn't trust the pattern. I hadn't had experience with negative ease yet. I didn't really understand how that would look and how that would fit. And so I decided to go with my gut instead of what the designer said, and realized that I couldn't really trust my gut here because I had never made pants before or shorts or anything that fit the bottom half of me. I then learned and applied that to the dress that I just showed, and it came out so much better. But since I made these, I've been wanting to actually take them out and remake them. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am literally going to, they're so big. I am going to completely take these out. I'm gonna cast on one size smaller. I'm gonna make the rise several inches shorter, and I'm just gonna make them totally perfect for me. I love making bottoms for myself, even though, again, I've only made this one in the dress. They're so comfortable. I have plans to make many, many more in the future because they're perfect for lying around the house or putting on over your bathing suit. So I was wearing these this weekend, as big as they are, making plans with Brianna. She even showed me that you can now get these really cool little finishes for the I-cord that make them look really professional. So I am pumped and ready to remake these. Okay, I have the final numbers, and out of 35 items, since I found that one extra, I am letting go of 15 items. I have 3 items that I'm either planning to make new and replace, so I guess technically it would be 18 items I'm letting go of, and then 17 items that I am keeping. So 15 items out of 35, that's 42%. So that's a really big reduction. I'm really proud of myself today, and it feels really, really good to have things pared down. I'm gonna get things back in the drawer. I'm gonna get them looking really, really good. And I'm so excited to give these 15, maybe up a little more if I am able to get the notes on these other ones soon enough, items away to you. So again, you can look in the description box for all the details. There will be a form. It will be open for a set amount of time. Then I will close it, and then I will randomly select for each item who is going to win that item and then be sending it out to you. I just can't wait to kind of spread the knitting and crochet joy around the world. I guess we'll do socks here in another video. Let me know if you'd like to see me go through my socks. I haven't done a sock drawer tour since like 2020, so maybe we want to see everything before I let them go. I don't think I'm going to be giving away my dirty and used socks, but who knows? Maybe there's someone out there who can do something amazing with them. Tips for where to let go of socks would be really, really great because I do not need this many. Thank you so much for watching with me today. I hope you had fun. I know that I did, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!